and I don't care.
Thanks.
We are here to thank you. See, Katie keeps track. She's got the I've got the feminine, what the fuck ever energy. Katie's like, let's focus. All right. So dudes, I mean, what is this about? It's for you to receive the reflections that are coming through our really authentic natural discussion and channeling of energy through with and to each other and see what arises. Let yourself be. This is like presence time for you. Just be in presence with what comes forward in your body, emotionally, physically, and just be authentic about it with yourself, with source, with us, whatever makes you feel happy. All right. So we are chatting for a few minutes before we came live, hence the delay. And we decided, fuck it, let's just have this conversation live, right? Of just how much energy has been in the field in the past, what, 3 months ish?
And that's what we were just saying, like, I think it's been longer than that,
I think so too.
right? I
You
feel
know
like
what?
it's
It started, Katie, with like the winter solstice.
I
It
was
was like
just gonna say, it was before Christmas for me. Yeah.
it was right around the winter solstice. And that
Yeah.
was like this really, really strong, one of the strongest I'd felt up until then, until the energy has continued to expand. But like of just this completion of cycle. Oh, that's what it was. It was creating new foundational energy, like completely rewiring the foundation of who we are from, societal standards, our own history, old values and belief systems that no longer align with who we are, where we're going, all the bullshit, right?
Mhm.
And just creating this new foundational experience which can feel rocky. You think about shifting a foundation, it kind of shakes everything above it, right? And you get a little twitchy emotionally and physically and cognitively. And so I think there's been a lot of kind of in and out of that cyclically since then. And it's because we're actually receiving really, really iconic, beautifully world changing energies,
Yeah.
right? That are inviting us into, like, at the same time that we have this kind of emotionality that's coming up and these, like, completely rewiring of, like, who the fuck am I? What am I doing here? Like, what is my role meant to be? Right. And really allowing that soul essence to come forward at the same time that we feel the rockiness of that. There's this, like, I feel so clear on who I am. I feel so clear on what I want. I'm so grounded vibrationally, but like in the 3D sense, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I started to say this and then I was like, let's just fucking go live, right? Because it's
Yeah.
like we keep feeling like how much longer can we hold this? Like life, there are certain parts of our lives where we are solid, it's good, there's gratitude, there's appreciation, there's love, like immense like immense high vibrational frequencies, right?
Yeah.
Then there's other parts where you're like, "Oh my god, I want to shake you." And I want to shake
Mhm.
myself. And right like and it causes right the littlest thing can set us into a tailspin of like right like
Mhm.
and it's like how much longer, right? and
Yeah.
and also in the same breath it's like we've been feeling this for a long time, so at what point do we say enough is enough? Do we even have that choice? Right, I think that's for me where I get way too in my mind and I'm like, ah, never mind, I'm just gonna
Mhm.
front, right? Like, and I feel like I collapse back. And I said to somebody yesterday, I'm like, I think I know too much, right? Like, I feel like in some ways I know too much about what I'm experiencing. And then
Yeah.
my old self wants to go, oh, well, we can make this a problem and we can hang on to this and we can attach this. And it's like, stop it.
Yeah. It's funny because like you talked about the collapse. And I wonder how much of this is a collapse and how much of this really is an invitation into just being with, like,
Right.
being with our soul, being with ourselves, being in stillness. Because I noticed it's been harder for me. It's been easier for me to channel and, like,
Mhm.
bring in galactic energies and, like, bring in healing and do Reiki, and, like, that has been even more magnified. But when
Mhm.
I sit in my own practice I need to be in it. It's not like I'm not just dropping into my own meditation for like 10 minutes and getting the enormity of downloads or healing or sensation that I would get maybe a few months ago. I'm sitting in it for like 60 to 90 minutes. And the depth of what I'm receiving is deeply palpable. But it's like there's so much mind activity, there's so much nervous system activity. And so is it actually collapse, or is it an invitation that we are meant to surrender more and not be in this figuring it out and
Hmm.
trying to do the work and all
Yep.
of this stuff, which is still filtered through the mind, whether we like it or not. Yeah, we're human beings.
Right.
Like it's still coming through that filter, and some of the time. And so I think it's just a part of this conversation is just to validate those of you who I know, most people I know have been feeling this way lately of like, sinking into meditation can feel like torture because it's like
Right.
the mind, the body, the blah, blah, blah. And it's just, it's an invitation into deeper patience with
Yeah.
ourselves and with the process. But I hear what you're saying about like, how much can we hold? Like, how much longer can we hold this? Right? And so I think that can be kind of an intention for the energy that we set today when we call it in, when we channel for each other is kind of like bringing that concept to the Akash, to source and just being like bring us energy around us. I don't even care if it's wisdom. I don't even care if it's conscious, right? But just like bring us energy and healing around this because in one sense it's like, yeah, well, you can hold it all. We can hold it
Yep.
all. It's just our capacity is expanding, and we're entering the Lionsgate portal in literally 2 days. And so we're feeling that energy, and there's a lot of momentum during that time. And so, of course, we're being prepared for this.
Right.
But it's like, how many times have we also said that over the past handful of months?
I guess that's my point, right? Like, and maybe that's my own frustration towards it, right? That I'm like, oh my gosh, again. But like, is this way? I think for me, I'm like, is this the way life is going to be forever and ever now? Like, is there an
Mm,
acceptance of this is just it? This is what I signed up for when I came here, right? Like, that I will constantly feel energy first, right? Because as we
mm,
prepare, right? And I don't know. Yeah, I like waffle back and forth on it because, like, even this morning, I said to somebody, I was like, I just want silence. Like, I just want to be held. I don't want to talk anymore,
yeah,
right? And it's like, part of me doesn't want to talk because I don't want to attach to any stories of what I'm feeling. I just want to be. I just want to
correct.
be with the feelings and let them be. Let them be here.
Right. You're inviting yourself into that allowing, just
Right.
allowing. And then you feel like, well, is that wrong? Because then I'm not connected, and then I'm collapsing, and then I'm avoidance, and then I'm
And then I'm avoidant, right? Yeah.
right. All the things,
Yeah.
right?
That's
And then
when
the
I
mind
feel like I
goes,
know too much. Like that's where I feel like um what's that saying, like ignorance is bliss? Like, right? 7, 8 year ago Katie would have collapsed into her little being and would have avoided, right? Like now I know that that was avoidance, but I would have carried on. I would have still moved forward towards the intentions that I was setting, right? And I was okay, right? Mildly,
mm-hmm.
right? Until my body at one point was like, nope, you're in full burnout, stressed out. You got to stop that. You got to feel your feelings. But now, like through this process, is the ignorance bliss or is it like that knowledge is power, right? Like, I'm like, okay, I'm
It's just
just
coming
here.
back. It's coming back to the body. I think it's like
Yeah.
allowing yourself to listen to the sensation because it's
Hmm.
when you do go back into that quote unquote withdrawal period, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, is that offering you peace? Are you feeling solace? Are you feeling
Right.
anchored, groundedness, centeredness, clarity, all of those things in that space? And if you do feel more like yourself and you do feel like you have more clarity, then yay. If you feel
Then yeah.
like you're getting lost in a sea of shit, then you know that you've probably gone a little too far in that direction, and maybe sprinkling in a little connection could be supportive, right? So I think it's a combination.
Well said.
Yeah, and I think it's also holding both. It's you being able to say, "Yes, I have signed up for this. I know that my soul signed up for this." But it's not like this death sentence, right? Of like
Right.
dread where it's like, "Oh my gosh, I have to feel energy for the rest of my life and it's just going to bowl me over." No, it's
Yeah.
it's both. It's being able to allow what your soul has signed up for and know with deep conviction that you can feel the lightning coming, right? You
Yeah.
can feel the opening arriving. You can see those snippets, and it's being able to to hold those snippets for longer, to focus on them. And does that get tiring? Yeah, it gets fucking tiring. Which is why it's like, okay, just rest in your energy and live. And I think that's one of the biggest things that both you and I have received, particularly around these summer months, is like just fucking live. Like
Yeah.
just live. Like stop focusing on like trying to figure out this within your spirituality, getting to the next level of consciousness, like,
Yep.
making sure
Because
that
all
you're
of that is
aware.
arriving.
Yes.
Like all of it's arriving. So you might as well choose the pleasure and the joy and what you really want to go do,
Mhm.
because also in a moment's notice, you could fall back into the I don't know, the grief, the sadness, the what the fuck, I just got the rug pulled out from underneath my feet, right? Like
Mhm.
I think remembering that all emotions are temporary is so important, right? Like
Yes.
even the joy and the pleasure, like go take it, go live your life,
Mhm.
because otherwise, I mean, living your life is still feeling the sadness and grief, right? Like,
Yeah.
and just allowing yourself to be in it. But
Mhm.
yeah, you're right. This summer has just been all like, what do you want to do? And go do it.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think one of the things that I've recognized that I was just telling somebody yesterday is like with that choice, so much more space.
Right.
And it's so beautiful because I'm like, "Ooh, this is great." Laura Mazzotta is rewiring this nervous system pattern at a deeper level because I recognize that this has been my intention all along. Like I always say, like abundance for me is spaciousness
Yep.
entirely. Intimacy and spaciousness. That's my definition of success. That's my definition of abundance. And so it's
Mhm.
like I then receive this in my life, and then when it shows up, I'll be like, "Oh, I have a
Yeah.
lot of space," you know? And part of me is just like, "What do I need to do?" Like, and
Yeah.
I catch myself in that, like, I recognize it. But then, like, if it really starts to spiral, I'll get into that place where I'm like, "Okay, I need to go do this because," and this time I'm like, "No, like, this is what I
Yeah.
called in. This is what I desire. My desire is actually being fulfilled right now,
Right.
and it's making my nervous system twitchy because it's not used to it and
Right.
it's accustomed to X, Y, and Z. And so it's actually been a really beautiful lesson in allowing the joy, the pleasure, and the actual arrival of the desire I was looking for to be here and to stay in joy and pleasure in that and
Right.
recognize that that is the medicine, that is the actual result.
1,000%. Yes.
Yes. And I think
Yep.
just, and this is
Be-
what came, go ahead. Go ahead.
well, because I think it's also like those intentions are being brought forward, but they're not coming forward in the way that you thought they would, or the way that you,
100%.
right? Like the
Yeah.
how is different, how it
Yeah.
looks is different than you up here wanted, right? And
Yep.
saw. So the fact that you can practice the joy and the presence with it, uh,
Mhm.
that's just going to magnetize more, like more in, right? Because
Yeah.
now you're releasing what it actually looks like.
Right. Right, and it always freaking works that way.
Always.
Like I'll market a
Mhm.
program and I'll be like, "Oh, only a few people signed up for that." And then like 5 people sign up for my retreat,
Right.
And it's just like it's being and allowing.
Yep.
However this energy as we're tapped into the energy as we allow the flow, like you said, emotion, energy and motion, and then we allow that flow. And that's what we're going to start doing now. We're going to bring in some healing for each other. We're going to call in some energy. We're going to do some channeling, so that you can feel into that flow of energy as it moves through you, and just become accustomed to the sensation of energy moving through you. So do you want me to start by offering to you, Katie?
It's funny. I see us both channeling together.
Me too. Let's do it.
Okay. Cool.
And are we setting an intention for this, or are we just gonna fucking do it?
Intention.
Hmm.
Intention.
I agree. I feel like it's something around what do we want to like, what do we do with spaciousness? Or like, what do we need to know about spaciousness? Because that's this concept of like you saying, like, how long can we hold it all?
Right.
And me being like, oh my God, there's not much space. So think, I think we can maybe just see what needs to come through around that.
I love it. Let's do it.
Okay, let's just channel together. And as we desire to speak, we'll speak. So, those of you who are receiving this live or on the replay, if you are in a space to close your eyes and receive, do so and share anything that comes forward in the comments. Right now, it just feels like I'm calibrating the nervous system because what they're saying is when you meet spaciousness, open to allow more in. It's going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to be stretching your edges.
I love us so much.
Is that what was coming through for you too?
I feel like there's this big ball, and on the inhale, like my hands go closer in, like really holding that ball closer. And then on the exhale, it expands, pushing the edges out. And then there's kind of like this little stickiness resistance on one of the edges that kind of keeps like bouncing in and out.
Yeah. So it's just really extending your breath, like extending the edges of your
Yeah.
breath
Yeah.
to basically do the opposite of what the nervous system wants to do, which is like shut down and be like tense up and be like, oh, like let every muscle in the body relax and just breathe into it and allow the breath to expand the body. And be in the spaciousness, like be still in the spaciousness as you breathe around you. Let the swirl of breath around you, energy around you, just be. There's nothing you have to do with it. You get to just be this casual, calm witness. You don't have to engage because the space actually creates more focus within the third eye intuitively, even though the mind can feel scattered. Just opening up space in the third eye completely relaxes my entire top part of my body. The space allows the heart energy to swell and move up into the throat, to be expressed, to be tasted. And that energy that does not desire to be spoken or expressed, it's okay. Like it's not required. Allow it to just trickle down the shoulders, down the arms, and out through the hands. And just offer it to yourself, to the collective, to those around you, to your own space. What if you hold your hands open and hold your own space? Like just feel into the actual holding of the energy of this space. Allow it to move your hands. It's guiding me into a softening. into the release of even holding my hands up to hold this space. Like there's no effort that has to be put in.
It's almost like you're blowing up a balloon,
Mm,
right? Like that whole, you have to inhale, right? And just hold the balloon at your lips. And on the exhale, you blow into it and it gets bigger, right? It's like this concept of allowing
mm.
that balloon to fill and expand.
Now I'm just feeling like sinking back into this space that I've like softened into as I've kind of held the edges and then released the holding and just allowed it to
Hmm.
hold me. There's just been too much over analysis of what the energy is as it comes in, as it moves through the body. And this came forward in some of my writing yesterday. It's a releasing of attachment. It's just another layer of that. Like Jay Shetty says in his book, Think Like a Monk, the biggest plight of being human is attachment, right? We have attachments to so much. It's like, just another layer of releasing attachment and just being, existing as energy. Not constantly, but in these moments that you allow space to hold you. And releasing any blame around this for yourself or other people with attachments, because it's kind of like, when we come into this planet, we are actually taught to attach and need to attach to feel safe and to start navigating our world in any level of sovereign way. And then we're being asked to detach and to release attachments. And so it feels like this wait, 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 wait. This is what anchored my nervous system when I came onto this planet. Recognizing that those attachments are still there, but we're shifting them to our core soul level guardians, parents, mentors, which are Father Sky, Mother Earth, Source, whatever feels aligned in your faith. I keep saying each day, I'm just moving moment by moment. And I've always wanted that. So this is an invitation, I know for me at least, to be more trusting of that moment to moment, that flow. Letting my whatever I feel like lead. And that doesn't mean I don't have responsibilities and I completely throw everything to the wind. This isn't a passive surrender. This is a intentionally choosing this and then allowing the energy to move me into intentional action, more focused action. and being in a chosen frequency no matter what I'm doing, allowing the frequency to lead whatever action I'm doing.
Hmm. I just pulled a card from the Lightworkers Oracle deck. And it's card number 8, which immediately makes me think of the
Infinity.
infinity sign, eternity, right? Which we're asking for infinite space, right?
Mm.
Um,
Yes, it's the request. Yes.
it's the request, and it's the Star Child card.
Mm. Well, I like that.
Hmm. So I'm just going to read the first inscription thing here. Allow this just to sink into your heart space or sink into wherever in your body the vibration of these words matches. The light of the stars the light of the stars exists within you. The earth wants you to share that light with humanity. You are asked to understand that you are meant to be here, that you have spiritual work to accomplish. Give up the idea that you belong somewhere else, to another home in the stars. Instead, let your starlight of your inner being shine here on earth, where it shall make such a positive difference in the world. Fall in love with earth's beauty. She can and will support you in all ways.
It's interesting because, like, as you're reading that, I feel into it, right? Instead of listening to the words themselves. And what I felt from that was just this like huge starlight. Obviously, you said starlight, right in my heart space and kind of solar plexus area. And it just like beamed out and just completely encompassed my entire field. And like everything just relaxed. And it just felt like when you're saying we're asking for infinite space, yes, it is a request, but is it a request? Because really it's just a remembrance. It's just a
Yeah.
return to what we are,
Yeah.
right? To what we already are. And it's just that it's really just a more convicted intention that we're communicating. Go ahead.
Yeah. You're right. It's not even a request, right? Nothing. I feel like nothing really is a request, right? It's just a remembering. Um, and I'm going to read the invocation here too because it feels solidifying, solidification. I don't know what the word is. Anyway,
Mhm.
it feels like a closing, like a sealing. That's the word.
Mm.
I call upon the star wisdom of my own spirit and ask that my love, light, power, presence, protection, and assistance shine forth from the highest good. May I shine divine beauty and joy in my life now and always. I feel a deep and true connection to my spirit, to the earth, and the universe. May love flow through me according to its own intelligence and healing wisdom to all beings upon the earth. Through divine grace and my own free will, so be it.
Can we talk about how I'm cracking up?
Good, because I wanted
Okay,
to laugh too.
I have to let this out. I have to let this out for a
Like we're here having this beautiful intimate moment where and I'm like, why do I want to fucking laugh?
I mean, welcome to how we operate, right? By the way, come to our retreat. This is what we do. It's in September. Okay, so as you were as you were speaking this, you were like, "Let love throw you," right? Instead of flow because you said the word wrong, and I was like, "See, that's how I feel." I feel like love is chucking me around sometimes. It's like it's because divine love is so immense and it's beautiful and it's so palpable, but it can feel really overwhelming too. Like when we let in, like when I channeled Metatron a couple weeks ago and I was like, okay. Okay, right? And it does sometimes it feels like when we receive and open to the space of the enormity of that love that's coming in, it can feel like it's rocking us around like a ship on the ocean because we're not accustomed to that level of love. And
No.
it's just kind of like, me or what is this? Or how do I integrate? Like, whoo. So I just think it's not a coincidence that that word came out and immediately I was just like, that's actually so accurate. That it feels like love is just throwing you around sometimes.
And I think that's how love expands our capacity.
Mm.
Like as you're talking about kind of being thrown around by this kind of love, right? It makes me feel I maybe it's at like a carnival or something, but like these like Velcro rooms, right? Where you're in like a Velcro suit and like you're kind of being like tossed, right?
Yeah.
And like, will you stick to this wall? Maybe not, right? It might not be the
Mhm.
right Velcro, but if you bounce over here, right? And it's like this whole like, you're in the middle of this room being kind of thrown around. You're still safe, right? You're still
Yeah.
protected. You're still being held in some way. And it's just kind of like, where do you want to stick, right? Like, where does that part I just see like this like back and forth as you
And I
talk about
think
being
one of
thrown around.
what's coming forward for me, you can tell me how this feels to you, but like what's coming forward for me is like that we have a choice, right? Like we have
Yeah.
a choice as to whether love chucks us around. Um, is it going to quote unquote rock our physical body nervous system? I mean, there's going to be an adjustment. There's going to be a vibrational adjustment there just
Yeah.
because of the density of the physical body itself. But we don't have to operate at the mercy of our nervous system. And we don't have to
Right.
operate at the mercy of our mind that, like, okay, we got chucked over here. And it's like, great, can we make it a fun, bouncy house
Yeah.
instead of, where it's just like, ooh, okay, I tasted that. And
Yeah.
that's, yeah. And then that's how we feel into the sensation of the how of
Yeah.
the how this is meant to arrive in the 3D, and it's an allowing that's like, okay, this can be playful, this can be light, and it's also in my opinion, a real awareness of deepening our immersion in the receptivity and the sensation of that divine love, because I think we can too easily allow it to chuck us into the how or let our nervous systems and minds take us into the bouncy houses or the velcro or whatever it is instead of just letting it immerse really deeply, because when it's fully integrated, we actually move forward with a much slower ease.
Ease.
And so
Mhm.
I think that's really an indication that we haven't been sitting in the immersion and allowing the full absorption enough. How does that feel?
Totally spot on.
Yeah, right? I think that's the deal. Fuck.
Yep.
Which just means, right, like more personal responsibility for deepening that receptivity and immersion and soak up like a sponge stuff.
Yep. Yeah, and it goes back to our conversation how we started this was like if we just can allow ourselves to sit in it is I feel
Mm.
like immerse ourselves in it. That's where we end up. I just lost my train of thought. Um, that's where we end up getting out of the mind.
Yeah, it's and I think it's what was coming forward for me as you were talking about that was it's honoring the seasons. Like, and I was talking to a
Yeah.
client about this the other day. One of my clients was just like, I'm so frustrated. Like, I keep falling asleep in these Akashic, experiences and da da da. And what suggestions do you have? And I'm like, well, I mean, I gave her a bunch of suggestions, but there's also the concept too of being in a receipt of the season that you're in. There are
Yeah.
going to be some seasons where you actually may be integrating really fucking enormous energies that your body needs to be in like a delta wave state in order to receive and fully integrate. That's
Yep.
okay. Some people do only intuitive work through lucid dreaming or dream states. So,
Right.
but I think it's about trusting the season that you're in and how spirit desires to move through you. Because at the end of the day, we don't have any idea every single nuance of every fractal of energy that's coming from the infinite to be integrated within us. Like it
Yeah.
could have codes that need to integrate at a different level or in a different way than the codes we integrated the week before or the month before or the year before. And so it's also trusting that season that, yeah, like Katie's saying, like immersing in and allowing maybe more space for the mind to release, the nervous system to release. And then you're going to have seasons where you tap in like a champ several times a day and you're flowing like a rock star. So we are cyclical beings. We signed up for this.
Yep. And it's I keep telling myself it's all going to be okay. It already is okay.
It's going to be better than okay.
Hmm.
It's going to be something we can't fathom.
Right. Right.
Hmm. There's the allowing. Nice full circle moment there, Katie White. Thank you
I
for this
love it.
experience.
Thank you.
All right,
Oh,
dudes.
this is
We
amazing.
will on the replay. We will put the link in the comments for our retreat in the Berkshire Mountains in the fall. So
Can I
everybody
just
start.
say
Yes.
it hit me this morning, and I was gonna type something up where I was recalling back to when we came up with the whole program, right? Our
Yeah.
like day by day, what we wanted to do, what workshops, what we wanted to do. And one of the things that you and I, what makes our retreat so different than what others put out there is that it's this whole space thing, right? Like
That's such a good point.
we are so intentionable. I cannot
I
talk.
really like your words today. They're making me very pleased. I'm I want to create a Katie White dictionary today. Go ahead.
I can't wait.
I'm here for it. Yeah.
I'm here for it. Um, but we are so intentional about creating space, right?
Yes.
Space to eat, space to just be, right? We don't have back to back workshops. There is
Yeah.
space for you to take what we do in these workshops as a group, as this intimate group of 11, and we create the space on the other side so that you can integrate it, and then we come back together, and then there's space, and then there, right? It's this
Mhm.
whole like it's the whole being in the middle of a room, kind of being bounced all around, but you're safely
Ah,
held during it all. But yeah, I was thinking this morning, I'm like, what makes our retreat so different than what a lot of
yep.
others we've been to and that, we know are hosted? And it's like we are so intentional about creating space and having space.
Yeah, and I think the allowing and the flexibility to when you're in
Yes.
that space, it's integration. So that could be that
Yes.
you journal, that could be that you take a bath, that could be that you go
Yeah.
outside and go for a walk, it could be that you desire to connect with the other people there or connect with your loved ones, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody integrates differently. And so and it could be that you need additional support during that time and you're like, "Hey
Yeah.
guys, my nervous system's freaking out. WTF?"
Right.
Right? And so but it's just that's what I like about retreats in general, right? Is being able to, in the moment, like as you're walking through your day, being like, oh, wait, this shifted again. Oh, wait, this shifted again. And like
Yeah.
in real time, being able to like nip that, attend to it, allow it, open space for it. And it rewires and it repatterns in a way that, when you're in regular treatment, either with a coach, a therapist, a healer, whatever, there's so much more space in between, which is good, but it can also get you back into the human sauce so much that you get knocked off.
Right.
So anyway, it's just really concentrated immersive time. And yeah, I'm glad you brought that forward. That's so funny too, because we're very intentional about space,
Yeah.
which is probably why spaciousness is coming up because we're being invited into that next level of spaciousness, which is
Exactly. Yeah.
literally what I
No.
said to myself yesterday.
Totally. Yeah, it felt
Mhm.
appropriate when it came forward. I was like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's exactly what
Yeah.
it is." Yeah.
All right, dude. So the link is actually there now. If you guys want to read about it and just ask us questions, feel free. You can reach out at any time. And we will see you next week on another episode of Intuitive Foreplay. Bye for now. Have a beautiful day.
Bye.